Do you ever feel like you have anxiety and just can't relax? Well, I did, and I want to share with you how you can overcome this burden. Welcome to Triumph with Trent. I hope you all are fantastic. I've dealt with anxiety my entire life and felt a need to make a video on it because I've been able to overcome that anxiety and not live with it every day. And at the time when I was feeling that anxiety, I didn't think this was an option. I was feeling it in class, studying, couldn't focus on my homework or tests. I had restless legs and could not sit in a waiting room or fall asleep at night because I had this anxiety that was weighing down on me, and it was interfering with the way I lived my life. So there's several methods that I took a route down to try to cure this anxiety, and some worked and some didn't. So in this video, I'm going to share with you those methods that worked for me and how I overcame this. If you want to rid yourself of anxiety and optimize your body and mind, make sure to hit that subscribe button below, and I'm going to get into tips and tricks on biohacking and how you can implement it in your life to become your best self. The first thing you need to do to start banishing anxiety from your life is identifying what is triggering it in your environment or your daily activities. A lot of us are caught up in work, relationships, and our daily endeavors, and this is steering us from being in the present moment. We're stuck thinking about the past or the future and constantly worrying or putting thought into what hasn't or has happened already. If we can focus more on the present moment and be more grounded, we're gonna be less likely to fall victim to this anxiety that's weighing on us. Start taking note of what's triggering this anxiety in the moment for you. Write it down on a napkin, in your journal, or however you want to take note of it. A lot of times we can see trends or patterns in these triggers of anxiety and take it head on from the source. A trigger could be your phone ringing or a notification popping up. It could be the noise that's irritating in your environment, or just talking to someone and having that social anxiety. A lot of what your feelings are reciprocated to the person we're talking with. And this is something I struggled with a lot of my life, and I can tell you now that you can overcome it if you implement some of these methods. One of the biggest catalysts for me was caffeine. I was reaching for it in the morning, drinking a couple of cups of coffee or even pre-workout before I worked out, and I didn't realize how much it was contributing to my anxiety levels throughout the day. If you start with caffeine in the morning, you're automatically going to prime yourself to have more anxiety. So I'd recommend, instead of taking that habit right out of your life, slowly start replacing, say, that cup of coffee with some black tea or a warm drink. That will make it easier to transition out of this habit in your life. Another great option for you is green tea. You're not going to have as much caffeine, and from the green tea leaves you're going to have L-theanine that will help stabilize your mood and keep you in more of a calm state throughout the day. That way, when you're drinking this caffeine at a small amount at the beginning of the day, you're going to prime yourself to feeling great the rest of the day. A few other priming methods that you can implement into your morning routine are going to be breathwork, yoga, meditation, and also eating the right foods that aren't going to trigger this anxiety for you. So first, I'll start out my day with 20 minutes of meditation, and that way I connect with my breath and clear some of these thoughts that were constantly running through my head the night before. Another great activity you can do in the morning to decrease anxiety is yoga. It'll help you stay more grounded and get you in tune with your body so you're not feeling this anxiety throughout the day. Beyond that, when you're eating in your diet, you should be eating things like probiotics and prebiotics in the form of kimchi, sauerkraut, and yogurt. That way you're building up that gut bacteria, because our gut produces 90% of our feel-good hormone, serotonin. And if you're in a better mood throughout the day, you're going to be less likely to have that stress and anxiety. Whenever I'm feeling anxiety, there's a few things that I do in the moment to alleviate this anxiety. The first one being grounding. If you haven't heard of grounding yet, it's about tapping into the Earth's electromagnetic field by connecting your feet or some type of your body part to the ground. And the reason we're not always connected to the ground is because we're wearing these synthetic shoes all of the time that our ancestors never wore. By connecting with the ground, you're going to charge yourself up with negative ions to balance out all of these positive ions that we're absorbing through electronics on a daily basis. There was a study done with 40 participants, 20 not grounded, and the other 20 with their feet mounted on the earth. And after this 1 hour period, they showed significant improvements in their mood and decreased levels of anxiety. Whether you're outside or have shoes on or not, a way I overcome some of this anxiety that I'm feeling in the moment is also just planting my feet flat, whether I'm sitting down or standing up. A lot of the times, being mindful of how grounded you are standing there can decrease the anxiety that you're feeling. Another method I use often is the 5 senses technique. And it's just being more conscious of what you're feeling in the present moment by rubbing your thumb on your palm, being more mindful of what you're seeing, hearing, tasting, and smelling. And that way you're more in the present moment and less focused on what your body's feeling. Most of the time when we're in a waiting room or a moment of peace, we can't sit with ourselves in the present moment. A lot of the time this is triggered because of our phones. We have access to our phones and these dopamine fixes on a consistent basis, and we're forming those neural pathways in our brain to indulge in looking at our phones instead of just sitting with ourselves and being present. Our phones are contributing to the amount of deep sleep and REM sleep that we're getting because we're looking at them late in the day, and this blue light is also interfering with our serotonin production. So if we're not in a good mood and we're deprived on sleep, we're going to be more likely to have this anxiety the next day. A way you can make your environment more relaxing is incorporating some of these essential oils in, say, your cleaning supplies, fragrances of candles, or have an oil diffuser in your home. That way you can drop in scents like lavender, rose, and bergamot that have been shown to decrease our anxiety and give us a feeling of relaxation. I personally never wanted to take any over-the-counter meds for ADHD or some type of anxiety that I was feeling, so a few supplements that I found in nootropics are going to be rhodiola rosea, L-theanine, and L-tyrosine that have shown drastic improvements in my anxiety levels throughout the day by taking them in the morning or whenever I have this anxiety occur. L-theanine, as I mentioned, is from tea leaves, and it's been shown as a cognitive enhancer and neuroprotector because it crosses the blood-brain barrier and helps us produce more GABA, serotonin, and dopamine. To achieve this balancing and calming effect, I would recommend taking 200 milligrams to have increased focus, learning, and memory from taking the supplement. Rhodiola rosea is an herb grown in mountainous regions of Europe and Asia that's been shown to decrease symptoms of depression and stress while improving your brain function. So if you decide to take this, take between 200 to 500 milligrams and see your anxiety vanish. L-tyrosine is an amino acid or a basic building block of our brain chemicals and has been shown to decrease depression and anxiety, so take around 150 milligrams of that to see your best results. I've experienced anxiety my entire life, and I see it as a problem for many of the generations coming up because we have these phones at our disposal and a lot of things in our environment that are contributing to our anxiety levels. But I'm confident in you implementing some of these methods to banish this anxiety because I've done it in my own life and I no longer live with that on a daily basis. If you want to learn more about biohacking and implementing some of these methods to optimize your body and mind, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Please leave me a comment or any feedback in the comment section below. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks you guys for watching. See you in the next video.